And I know, let's move ahead to one of our favorite people who's waiting to join us, JD.
All right, well, let's do so. That, of course, would be our good friend Michael Reagan, who joins us from Southern California. You see him right there via Skype, his smiling face. Michael, of course, the author of the new book, Lessons My Father Taught Me, The Strength, Integrity, and Faith of Ronald Reagan. As always, you can find and follow Michael on Twitter. His handle is @ReaganWorld. Mike, it's so good to have you here as I tag team along with Steve Malzberg on the Malzberg Show. And there is one thing I need to do right now is to remind you of the phone number to call in, because we want you to be part of the conversation too at 1-877-NEWSMAX. That's 1-877-639-7629. First thing up, there's been a lot of talk, Michael, maybe when you got up this morning you heard it too, ABC saying, well, Trump is going to drop out. Do you think that's going to happen?
No, he's not going to drop out. But I'll tell you what I tweeted earlier today at Reagan World. I tweeted this: if Trump would shut up, maybe then the media might cover Hillary and her lies. He doesn't know how. No discipline, no POTUS. And I think I'm true on that. I think I'm absolutely right. If he doesn't have discipline, he will never see the inside of the White House unless he's invited to a state dinner, and that won't be by Hillary.
I just couldn't agree with you more, Michael. He's got to get on message. He took a big step in doing that today, talked about how Hillary was responsible for ISIS, talked about her FBI, the lying about what the FBI director said as recently as Sunday. He's got so much out there. I mean, we had the resignation of the whole hierarchy of the DNC for racism and anti-Jewish bigotry and making fun of a black woman's name, etc. These are the things he's got to read from these emails. He's got to bring forward the Benghazi parents more. He's got so much ammunition. Like never has a Republican candidate had so much ammunition against their opponent. And you're right, he just doesn't know what to do with it, Michael.
Well, I think he's treating this, Steve, he's treating it as if it's a business operation. Like he's up against a businessman going after a building. Running for president of the United States is so different than a business deal gone awry or you're trying to close a business deal. And I don't think he's understood that to this point. I think he believes that if I'm in the news every night and control the news, I'm going to win this. But the reality of it is he has no ground game. There's nobody out there. He makes news by disparaging Republicans and alike, disparaging Gold Star parents. That's not where he needs to be. He needs to be concentrated like a laser beam on Hillary Clinton and what she has done as Secretary of State and beyond.
Gentlemen, let's go to the phones right now at 1-877-NEWSMAX, 1-877-639-7629. And we head way out west to a great city, San Diego. That's where Jim is standing by. Hiya, Jim, and welcome to Newsmax TV.
Oh, hello there. I got some things there. These people that says my vote don't count. My vote is the most important vote that's ever made. When I put my mark on that ballot, it negates Al Gore's vote.
That's exactly right. Every vote counts. And that brings up a question, though. I worry, and Michael, you've chronicled the difficulties in California, but we have heard more about the way in which the left is using, quote, legal means to try and take away valid voter ID, to have same-day registration. Not in California, but clear across the country in North Carolina, they've moved, also Kansas and Texas. Jim is right. Every vote counts, but is there a danger that some votes could be counted like 10 times?
Well, listen to Chicago. I mean, yeah, do those things happen? Absolutely. But I've listened to, Donald Trump talking the last few days about this election's rigged, it's rigged. There's no reason for him to go in that direction because, again, that's not the issue of the election. The issue is Hillary becoming president of the United States of America. And I thought to myself,
you're right, Michael. If I may, Michael, you're absolutely right. I don't disagree with you, but I do want to point to even a New York Times story today that talks about how the Obama administration, and boy, do I have confidence in them, is weighing new steps to bolster the security of the U.S. voting process against cyber attacks. Now, maybe not even cyber attacks from Russia. Maybe, maybe Donald Trump and some other conspiracy theorists might say cyber attacks from Democrats or people who want to fix this election. So I think we are vulnerable.
We got about 45 seconds, Michael.
Steve, we are. We're vulnerable to cyber attacks. We know that going in right now. But you know something? We win rigged elections when we have a message that is a winning message. Right now, Donald Trump does not have a winning message. He has faux pas all over the place, and he's having self-inflicted wounds here he doesn't need. He needs to find what his message is going to be, stick to that message, go forward. If he got shut up and put in a soundproof room and not open until November 9th, he'd win this thing going away.
Well, we hate to put everybody in the equivalent of a soundproof booth right now. We want you both to stick around, but we've got to step aside. Before we do, though, let's take a moment to welcome our viewers who join us tonight on JLTV, Jewish Life Television. We're so glad to have you with us. We hope you're enjoying the Steve Malzberg Show, and you'll stick around because more with Michael Reagan and Steve comes up following this break.
I gave Hillary a hug and shook her hand, and she said that we are going to have the filmmaker arrested who was responsible for the death of your son. Now, not only did I write that down, she also told that to other family members, and then about a half hour or 45 minutes later, she went on national TV at the casket ceremony, and she repeated the same untruth.
Charles Woods, father of former Navy SEAL Tyrone Woods. Tyrone Woods, of course, killed during the Benghazi attack in 2012, and there, Charles Woods was recounting his conversation, actually reading from his diary, contemporaneous account of just what Hillary Clinton had told him a couple of days after the attack. Steve, it sounds exactly like what Patricia Smith had to say. And of course, she lost her son, Sean, in that same attack.
Yeah, Hillary has called them liars without saying they lie. In other words, they were confused. My heart goes out to them in that situation. Yet this gentleman, Charles Woods, wrote it down almost right after she told it to him. And he has the booklet there on television. What Hillary did lying to these families is a zillion times worse than what Donald Trump did in reacting to a hostile attack from a father who lost his son, who wanted to make a political issue of this campaign. Yet the media gives her a pass, and I am so sick of seeing Mr. Khan's face. And the more we find out about Mr. Khan, the more we understand why he reportedly erased his website yesterday.
Yep. Well, we want you to write something down at home, and that is our telephone number. So when you can call in and join us as part of the conversation tonight, the number to dial, 1-877-NEWSMAX. That's 1-877-639-7629. Let's continue our conversation with political commentator Michael Reagan. Michael, of course, has that great new book out that he has authored entitled Lessons My Father Taught Me, The Strength, Integrity, and Faith of Ronald Reagan. Again, you can find and follow Michael on Twitter at Reagan World. Mike, we appreciate you sticking around here on the Malzberg Show. And we look back, you had an active hand in your in your dad who became president in his campaigns, especially in that pivotal 1980 campaign. If you had to go through a checklist, and I'm in no way comparing your dad's situation with Trump, you started a little bit earlier before the break, but in terms of the hurdles to get over, are there the big three that he really needs to concentrate on to have success in November and beat Hillary?
Yeah, he needs a strong message, a consistent message. He also has to show some humility. My father, you might remember, I told him a joke at Thanksgiving back in 1980, and he ended up telling the press bus in 1981 outside New Hampshire the joke I told him, and he ended up having to go on television and apologize to all the Polish people out there for the joke I told him during Thanksgiving. My father did that because it was the right thing to do because he needed to get by it because the press, he knew the press would make hay out of it. You know, I was thinking today when they're talking about this whole thing with the $400 million for hostages, it brought me back to Arms for Hostages back in 1986 with my father. And the hay that the media made about the Arms for Hostages with the armaments that went to Iran, 7 hostages in Lebanon, trying to get the Iranians to get involved to get the hostages out of Lebanon. And the media would not let go of it like a rabid dog. I just wonder if they'll let go of this. I think they will. I think they'll forget about it next week. But Donald can help himself by keep on talking about that 400 million and don't say something that's going to allow them to make you the issue. Allow them to make Hillary Clinton the issue, and that's what my father did back in 1980.
Let me ask you, Michael, we know that Paul Ryan was very slow, hasn't given a full-throated endorsement to Donald Trump, has said the words, "I'm not there yet." So when Donald Trump told the Washington Post he's not there yet in an endorsement for him in the primary, which is next Tuesday against Paul Nehlen, and today Mike Pence comes out and endorses Paul Ryan, how big a problem is that?
Well, the problem is that Donald Trump took Hillary off the front page and put himself back on the front page with the Republican Party and disunity within the Republican Party. You know, my mother taught me if you can't say something good, just don't say anything at all. And sometimes it'd just be better for Donald not to lash out and say, oh, I'm just going to get even with him here. Maybe it's tongue in cheek, whatever it might be. But it makes news. That's why today, when he's zeroing in on Hillary Clinton, they walk away from him and don't cover it because the media has gotten so used to him saying something so outrageous that they can use that against him in other ways within the campaign. So if I was running the campaign, that's the conversation I would have with him. Quit saying things that make you the issue. Say things that are going to make Hillary and the Democrats the issue.
Gentlemen, a quick programming note. Tonight at 8 on Newsmax Prime, Paul Ryan's challenger, Paul Nehlen, will join us. So you make plans to join us for that. Right now, via telephone at 1-877-NEWSMAX, we are joined from Pasadena, Maryland, by Roxanne. Hello, Roxanne.
Hi there.
It's good to have you.
Thank you.
Hey,
Thank you
Roxanne.
very much.
What's on your mind?
Oh, my goodness. There's so much. I feel like my head's going to explode. It seems to me like the Democrats are the party of no morals, no values. And it seems also like, we're made to be the bad party, the evil party, because we believe in a God, the right to bear arms. We love our country. And it amazes me the path that we're going down. And I guess if I could put Donald Trump, if I could sit him down right here in my living room, I would just like to say to him, the American people have put their, they want to vote for you. They believe that you can lead this country back to where it needs to be. And I just wish there was someone that's close to him that could talk to him and say, you need to stay focused. Just stick to the facts. Keep your eye on Hillary.
Roxanne.
Don't talk about anything else. All these other little, sidebar things that are going on with this.
Roxanne, here's the deal. He doesn't listen to anyone. I would assume and hope he listens to his adult children, the two sons, and to his lovely daughter. But I don't know because we're not seeing it. We're not seeing it. Michael Reagan is exactly right. And with all that is out there, whether it's Hillary's past, whether it's how she's treated other women, the lies about, she's a champion of women, whether it's time as Secretary of State and how the world has fallen apart, whether it's stressing, as he did today, that Crimea was taken by Putin under Obama. And yet all they talk about is how Putin would run over Trump. He took it under. He's got to state the facts about Hillary, and how bad the things are right now, and stop talking about other Republicans, and stop talking about himself, and stop saying stupid things.
Yeah, I think to agree with you, Steve. I almost think at this point, if any of the other candidates had gotten the nomination,
Yep.
this election would be over right
Yep.
now. Be over.
Over.
The
They have a
only reason it's
20-point
not
lead. It would
over is
be
because of
over.
Donald Trump.
Gentlemen, with 2 minutes
Yep.
left.
And the media too, Michael, because they would find something, they would attack it, and they would protect Hillary as best they can. But you're right, it would be over.
Gentlemen, with about 2 minutes remaining, let's go back out to my old stomping grounds to Phoenix, Arizona, where Tom is waiting patiently. Tom, welcome to Newsmax TV.
Hello, how's it going?
Okay.
Trump's doing everything right. All the news is telling him what to do. What the news says, he'll do the opposite. He got where he was because he was doing his own thing. McCain had to keep his mouth shut. He couldn't keep his mouth shut. He lost the election. Paul Ryan, he lost the election. If Paul Ryan loses next week, what are you guys going to say now? That Trump made him lose?
Now, we're not going to say that. He's got his own problems. But I will tell you this. I think the broader argument, Michael Reagan, that Tom is making is saying, let Trump be Trump. As they said of your dad, let Reagan be Reagan. We've got about a minute left.
It may work. It may work for the base. I know where the base is, that we all do. But it doesn't work outside the base. And he's got to get outside the base if he plans to win a general election. Let Reagan be Reagan, but when Reagan was Reagan, he was talking to everyone. He wasn't just talking to the base. He was getting into everybody's homes. He was talking to everybody. He was at their dinner table speaking about the issues. Donald Trump's not at anybody's dinner table but his own.
Right. Michael, great talking to you as always, my friend. Thank you very much for being on the show with us.
Thank you.
All righty. And coming up next, we really get the inside story about this ransom the Obama administration paid to the Iranians, the $400 million and all the complications therein. You heard Michael Reagan compare that with so-called Iran-Contra involving his dad. Can you imagine the firestorm if a Republican were president right now? At any rate, former CIA analyst Fred Fleitz will join us as we continue here on the Steve Malzberg Show on Newsmax TV.